Benedicamus Patrem et Filium cum Sancto Spiritus.
Laudemus Jesum exaltemus in nomine saeculum.
Benedictus es Domine in firmamentum cielo.
Et locabilis et gloriosus et super exaltatus in saeculum.
Domine exaudi orationem meum.
Et clamor meus ad te venit.
Dominus vobis.
Et cum spiritu tuum.
Amen. Deus cuius misericordiae non est nullius, et bonitatis infinitus est thesaurus. Issime majestati Tue procollatis donis gratias agimus, Tuam semper clementiam exortes, ut qui petentibus postulata consciens, eos dem non descendens ad premia futura dispos. Per Christum Dominum nostrum.
Deus est agnus, qui non Jesus est, agite
Howdy. How are you? Good. How are you? All right. I just nicked my lip while shaving. That's no fun. And it's not even, it doesn't hurt or anything, but it just won't stop bleeding. So I've been like the last 10 minutes I'm like trying to cut him off. Church side chat. Oh, okay. Do you think we'll get marked for this? What? Do you think we'll get marked for this music? Probably. Probably. We'll have to sing something from now on or something.
I think we could eventually change it to church chat.
Church chat? Yeah,
But we're at the church chat, church side now.
this is true.
So we were talking about, did he give you kind of what we're talking about with?
Nope, we haven't talked since last time.
Oh, okay. So we thought we'd maybe give kind of a format of like, what have the joys been from the last week? We're gonna do a once a week show, what have the joys been? What are you looking forward to the next week? And just kind of basic news going on. Kind of a
Okay.
basic kind of format I was thinking.
Okay.
Does that work for you?
Yep.
Did you wake up today? You still a
Almost.
little sleepy?
I don't even remember last week. Got like 2 days max remembrance.
I understand. Come on, Mr. Blood. Stop.
Senor. Monday.
We have shadows on our faces.
Oh no.
Well, because the light's behind us, that's why.
What?
Because the light's behind us. It might help if we turn on these
Right,
things.
done.
I'll go to that. Those basically do nothing, but they might.
Well, they might do something.
Right.
You could change the angle too. No, not today, but. Is Facebook cutting out in and out again?
I don't know.
Because my screen seems to be frozen again here.
Yeah, you're pretty frozen there.
I'm not frozen.
Pretty unmoved. You're pretty unmoved.
I'm the unmoved.
Oh, yep, we are frozen now.
Alright. Facebook is right out. What was Saturday? Did we?
What was Saturday?
Yeah.
There was
Yeah,
a
the
We
wedding.
had a
deacon.
wedding.
Yeah, the deacon.
Oh,
Ordination.
the deacon.
Deacon
Yeah.
ordination, yeah.
The Chrism Mass was Friday.
Yep.
Solemnity of the Sacred Heart. Okay, I remember those days, yeah.
You can probably send me better chant channels, but this is the first thing I found.
This is fun.
I thought we need to rebrand, and we're at the church. So I thought we'd have church music on.
Well, good, yeah.
This is church music.
This is church music.
Let me hear what chant we're doing. I don't know this chant. Ooh, that's always lovely.
All right, well, welcome. It is 9:46. So welcome everybody.
Hello, hello.
I
Good
will
to
turn
be
the chanters
seen by
off here.
everyone.
Welcome everybody to whatever we're calling this thing. Church chat, church side chat. I don't know what we're calling this thing, but we are not at the fireside, so we can't call it fireside
This is
chat
true.
anymore. So welcome to the new program. We're trying to rebrand a little bit, and
hopefully you can hear us. Can you just let us know if the sound is good? I can maybe pump us up a little bit here if we need to.
Now, is this a rebranding or a brand update? Apparently those are different things.
Oh, really? How are they different? Tell us.
I don't know. I think rebrand is like everything. Like you change everything.
Oh, okay.
Change a logo if you.
My
have
name
it.
is no longer Father Ashmore.
I'm now going by JD or Wes.
All right. I'm going to. I don't know. I'll be my rapper name.
K-Dog.
Poem.
Yeah, he's K-Dog.
K-Dog. How are you doing? We're at a different site. This feels kind of weird, huh?
Yeah.
Different environment. My thought was, Don, you were asking, where are we? We are in the narthex of the church. You can probably see it clearer now that the splash screen is gone, but we are here in the...
Let me get out of your way.
We are here in the narthex, and I'm not sure if this is going to be the final destination of where we will be, but we thought today might be a good spot to try it here. We're going to try doing it at the church location, so we're not moving this camera back and forth anymore. So that's the idea. We're going to do a once-a-week program. We're going to aim for Wednesdays normally, I believe, is the plan. Wednesdays at 10 a.m. is our normal plan of when we want to do that, I think, is... But if we have a funeral or something coming up, then we will alter the plan a little bit. So it's not going to be as regular. But we know we have a lot of viewers that watch later, too. So the time is a little bit less particular. And we're doing it 9:45 today because you got a thing.
Yes. I have a funeral at 11:15 over at, I believe, Shawnee Mission Park. I'm
Right.
gonna check on that, but
So a funeral kind of service, memorial service, whatever
yeah,
that thing
funeral
is. Yeah.
service.
Yeah.
Funeral outside of Mass is what
Right.
it's called. So.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Very good. So that's happening. So that's why we're starting a little bit early today, so we could give time for Father Ashmore to get to his spot and prepare for that funeral. And the fun thing about this location, too, is I'm hoping that we'll get some guest stars coming through.
Right?
Because, like, Mary
Whether they
Mueller.
like it or not.
I know. We could just, oh, hey, Mary. Or, hey, Brad. Say hi to the folks here. So that's kind of the other fun thing of being in kind of a public space here, is that we might get some other folks coming by and they could just say a few words. So that might be good to see that. So welcome, everybody. Hope you're doing well. And let us know if you have any questions, anything going on in your life. We are kind of shadowy, aren't we? We're shadowy figures. But I also didn't turn on the brightness. So let me see if that'll help a little bit at least. But probably not. But
Yeah, it might wash us out at this point. I might wash it back out. I might
I'll
be
just,
able to get
at
some.
least we won't have the immediate, like, I don't know if it varies or whatever,
Mhm. The automatic setting is what
Right,
you're saying?
yeah. So we'll just try, I bumped it up 0.25%. So welcome. So we're going to try to do something a little bit different, formatting of the show here. We're going to try to do something a little bit more structured, but still have the flow of the spontaneity, hopefully, of fireside chat. But kind of a basic kind of buckets of what were some of the joys of your last week. What are some things that you're looking forward to for this week? And what's kind of some news of the parish? I think that's kind of the overall thing that if you have any other ideas of what buckets we should talk about. But it's kind of inspired from, sometimes when we do like our priest support groups or even seminarian support kind of faith groups, we talk sometimes in those terms. Or when I went to India years ago, and we sat down every day and kind of processed the day. What did you see today? What did you hear? So kind of on that same kind of model of what were the joys that you have experienced this week? And less, because we want to make this a positive show, less of like, what are the struggles that you're going through this week? Because that doesn't seem to be, this does not see the appropriate form for that. But focusing on what are the joys that you've experienced this past week. And I encourage you to talk about your joys this past week, and feel free to type them in and let us know what your joys have been for the past week. So what are some of the joys that you have experienced this past week? Father Ashmore?
You start. You made the format.
Okay, well, I can start. Well, I am really enjoying these, the communion calls that I'm doing. I kind of did that unannounced, here's what we're going to do, which I sometimes tend to do. But at the Feast of Corpus Christi, it's a big celebration of the body and blood of Jesus Christ. As I was preparing the homily and because I normally talk about what a joy it is to participate in communion and go to Mass and how this is awesome and everyone should be going to Mass.
Well, it doesn't work this year because some people aren't comfortable coming to Mass. They have sicknesses that keep them in their houses or whatever. So I kind of recalculated that a bit. And I said I really want to get out and make sure that everyone has the opportunity, if we really do believe that the Eucharist is the body, blood, soul, and divinity of Jesus Christ, which we do, and what a blessed opportunity it is. And normally we should participate in person in Mass every week, every Sunday, have a Sunday obligation, and then hopefully receive as frequently as possible Holy Communion. That has not been a possibility for many people, so I really wanted to really let that get out there. So on Sunday afternoons, I've been going out and making some visits, which has been really nice. It's been a great joy for me. I also did training for Eucharistic ministers, for new ministers of Holy Communion on Saturday. And if you sent your note in saying, I am a Eucharistic minister and I'd like to do this service to the people, I haven't got to that part yet, so I'm getting to that. But currently, my list is small enough that I can handle it, and I think it's kind of good for the pastor to do and to get out there and get to the people, make house calls, if you will. So that's been a joy. It's also been a good joy just to kind of see the neighborhood, because that's my parish, right? My territorial area. As I'm driving around, I'm getting to see more where people live and what's the community, and so just getting to know the lay of the land better. So it's been a great joy for me these past couple weeks, and bringing communion on Sunday. So that's been a great joy. Got any joys?
Sure.
I've got some more joys.
So one thing that I really enjoyed this last week was actually preparing for the 8th grade graduation ceremony. We had the 8th grade graduation ceremony / prayer service last night. And as many of you are aware, we run a really fantastic school here at Shepherd. I'm really proud of the staff. I'm really proud of our students, especially with how they responded this year. It's been just a year of challenges, but everybody's risen to the occasion. So it was a great opportunity for all of us to not only celebrate our 8th graders, but also in a certain way celebrate what happened this last year, and as a staff, and prepare for the next year that's to come. It's kind of like a turning point within the school year. So it was fun for me to work with the staff yesterday as we were preparing it, getting the church set up, and it was great to see all the 8th graders too. So that was a great joy that I had.
It's hard to hear Father Ashmore. Okay, let me see if I can improve that a little bit. Let me take this. This is a little bit of a eyesore, I know.
Is this on like the circular mode?
It should be.
No? Okay.
It's on the no, it's not. It flipped. Aha. Good job. Somehow we got flipped onto the non-semicircular. So now, hopefully you can hear him better, and you can hopefully hear all of us better. So
Right. So
thank you, Carly.
my great joy this
Let me
week
know
was
if that's
working with
better.
the 8th grade graduation service. One not great joy that I had was I accidentally cut myself just a little bit this morning when I was shaving, and it hasn't stopped bleeding yet. So if you see something, I'm just trying to not look like a murder victim.
That's why you should never
That's why I was
shave.
pushing it over to you to see if I could try to
I see.
take less attention. Nope, it's still still
Okay.
going.
Well,
it's okay.
that's part of life. He bleeds. He bleeds. And you hadn't seen the kids in person since, well, a long time, since before your vacation.
Most of them, that's true. And which is crazy because I used to go to the school almost every day of the week. I used to eat lunch with the students when we had lunch.
And there's such a thing called lunch.
Yeah, exactly. I used to be there very frequently, and I tried to be very present. So to have all the students suddenly be gone was it was tough. It was sad not to have the students walking around the school any longer and to lose those connections. So it was good to see everybody. Yes, last night.
Yeah, it was neat. Masks and all, so everyone was masked up, and it was basically, Bev, sorry that you weren't able to be there in person, but I was glad that we were able to get that live streamed and you were able to participate in that way. But it was just basically parents and siblings. That's all who were invited to the graduation. So. John, you got any joys?
Yeah, so on Friday and Saturday, I served at 2 different liturgies for the Archbishop. On Friday, we had the Chrism Mass, and I was just kind of a normal server there. But on Saturday, I got to be a vimp, which kind of the history of that role is they're like the bodyguards of the bishop, which is that's what Father Bruce told me at least. So. But so, and honestly, for being a vimp, you don't have to do a whole lot.
You just have to wear those things.
Yeah,
over, yeah.
yeah.
Are called.
And it was nice to just be able to kind of like sit there in the liturgy and just kind of be rather than doing. Because serving, it takes a long time to while you're serving to actually pray during the Mass, like to be able to get to that point. At least for me, it's just always kind of thinking of what's next. But so I didn't really have to do that on Saturday. Could just kind of be there. Also spent some time with some brother seminarians Friday night as well.
Good.
Up at St. Peter's.
Oh, yeah.
At the Cathedral Rectory. And that was a lot of fun too, because we had meat, because it was a solemnity, and it was great. A lot of frisbee thrown, so.
It was a bacon Friday.
It was a bacon Friday.
And I think the guest sent me a note showing me the bacon. It was great.
Yeah.
That was a sadness that we had I realized last week when we stopped the fireside chat the day before a Bacon Friday. So that was kind of sad. Dawn, you asked about the trip. That was another joy that I had. So yes, I had a little trip. Just I think the only time I'm getting away for the next 6 months. So it was nice. I tried but I apparently didn't communicate very well that I was going somewhere. So because I should have sent an email to the staff. But I was gone so for such a short period of time. I thought but I got a whole bunch of emails that I got to catch up with. But it was good. We went to Lindsborg, Kansas, and that is the Swedish area. Why Lindsborg? I have a priest prayer group that we get together once a month, usually on the third Monday of the month, and then we have a summer trip each year. And there were just 4 of us that went this time. There's 8 in our group, but for various reasons, 4 of them could not attend. But it was really lovely. So Lindsborg is about 20 minutes south of Salina, and it was good. We generally just kind of get away for a few days. We stayed in one of them Airbnbs. It was really nice, and just kind of relaxed for a bit. Had some good food, just had some company, and it was really nice. So it was a good trip, good getaway. I slept in. Well, I didn't set much of an alarm, but I still got up too early. But it was still got to just kind of a different schedule. That was really nice. That was a joy. So it was. I always look forward to those days. We go to a different place every year. It used to always be the Salina trip.
Well, there's not that much to do in Salina. Is there every year? I've never been to Salina.
Well, so here's the thing about here's the thing about the Salina trip is we stayed in Salina, but there's a bunch of things to do around Salina.
Yeah.
So we went to Mushroom Rock State Park, which lots of these things we would never do except for on the Salina trip. So there's Rock City in Minneapolis.
Yep.
There's the Motorcycle Museum in Marquette.
Wait a minute, Minneapolis,
Kansas. Yep.
It's one of those.
Yeah. Canopolis, which is very interesting. Did you know that Canopolis was supposed to be the state capital of Kansas?
Cannot believe that.
I cannot believe that either.
And they had a vote back in like 1870 or something like that to move the capital from Topeka to Canopolis, and it missed by 1 vote.
Really?
It was also almost in Lawrence, and it was also almost in Riley County.
Apparently, we've been trying to take this away from Topeka for a long time.
Yes, right.
Does not belong there.
I know some seminarians or other people who might think that we still need to take it away from Topeka.
But anyway, so Salina is really nice because it's like this centrally located to a bunch of like obscure kind of little small, good for a 1-hour visit kind of places or a 2-hour visit. And then there's the zoo,
Rolling Hills
Zoo, which is really nice. So there's actually a lot of interesting things. Normally, in normal years, there's a movie theater and there's an arts theater there in Salina, and so we've seen some pretty good movies there. Normally, on our trip, we usually go to see 2 movies, one on Monday night and one on Tuesday night. So it's a brief trip. We leave on Monday. We leave noon on Monday and leave noon on Wednesday. That's basically the trip. So it's basically a 48-hour trip. Yeah.
You're talking a lot about history there. I really enjoy 19th century history, Civil War history, as we briefly mentioned
Oh, yeah.
on another show. And Father Kent and I, and no, you just dropped in for the end. Yes,
Right.
you did for a little bit. Watched the movie Glory on
Mhm.
Friday night?
Sunday night.
Sunday night, okay.
Sunday night.
Sunday night. And I'd actually never seen the movie and never.
He'd never heard of the movie.
Never
He'd
heard.
never heard
Never
of
heard of it.
Glory. Can you believe that?
What can I say?
Yeah,
Mhm.
that was like a
It
big
was
deal
made
in
4 years
1989.
before I was born.
That's
what
true.
can I say?
That's true.
It's not my fault. My parents didn't educate me. So.
But your dad is a big Civil War buff.
Yeah.
Doesn't he go to like?
But he's not really a big movie watcher. My dad did not.
Okay, fair.
Really watch movies.
But he did. Doesn't.
Yeah, he goes to the Cedar Creek battlefield every year, where my grandfather was actually injured. My great grandfather. So he goes there and sees a reenactment and does Civil War things.
Yeah.
And-
So I would think that even if he wasn't a movie person, that he might see these big Civil War movies like Gettysburg and Glory, and
yeah.
But-
Mm-hmm.
but who knew? But
It was a great film.
I thought it was a great. I
Matthew
hadn't seen it
Broderick.
before.
I hadn't seen Matthew Broderick in a serious role other than Ferris Bueller, and that's not exactly a serious role.
No.
So, but he was quite good.
Yeah, I kept expecting him to break the fourth wall in Glory.
Mhm.
And
All these Confederate battle soldiers.
well, and I didn't want to ruin the mood, but we were saying some quotes throughout the movie. But Carrie Elwes was in the movie as well, and
It was kind of like the best of the 1980s.
Mm-hmm.
it was because Morgan Freeman, Denzel Washington. But
Young
anyway, when they
Denzel
were
Washington.
storming the fort, I wanted to go. I have a secret. I'm not left-handed because he's coming in with a sword and everything. But I didn't say that. But because he was in Princess Bride, so it's a big claim to fame. But yeah, I thought it was great. I probably hadn't seen it for 20 years, but it was a big deal when it came out. I think it's considered one of the best Civil War movies that's out there.
I thought it was brilliant.
Yeah.
I thought it was quite good.
And interesting things. I thought it was very interesting about the contrast. I'm still processing that, but the contrast of the two different what are they called, battalions or whatever, the 54th
Brigade and
yeah.
battalions. Yeah. I'd have to double check.
But the contrast between, because it focuses on the black battalion or whatever, the 54th of Massachusetts. That was an all-black regiment. And regiment, maybe.
Regiment might be better.
And that was kind of a big deal for the Civil War, and so it kind of tracked them. But then the contrast between that one, who took their training seriously, and the one who was there, they were just the other regiment from Missouri or whatever
Kansas.
they were, or yeah, were
Oh.
they from? Well, he was a Jayhawker, right? The general,
Mhm.
but I think the other ones were from Kentucky or something. But just the lack of organization taken seriously, and it seemed like, I mean, one of the things I was reflecting upon is when we put, you often call people to be saints and call people to live. I mean, I try to do that too, but you that's one of your kind of themes I've heard is live virtuously, live heroically, and that's for everyone. It's not just. And when we actually like put our emphasis and training and help people to be trained in virtue and to battle evil, we rise to the occasion. And that was not the case with the other one. It seems like they were just kind of there for just to go loot and they were not. He did not have the confidence that they could be trained in battle or whatever. They were just whatever. So
Right. Mm-hmm.
But I thought that kind of contrast was
Yeah.
interesting.
Well, I was thinking about Matthew Broderick's character as an interesting experiment in leadership, because he initially wasn't sure how to lead these people, which he saw as so different than himself. And he was trying to essentially be a strong leader. He was worried about the historical implications. He didn't want them to seem like a weak army, and so he was being very heavy-handed initially. And that heavy-handedness really didn't work. What he needed to do was get on their side and show him that he was battling with them. And so, how does he die in the end? Sorry, spoiler for a 1989 film. How does he die in the end? He dies standing up and leading them, and being the first one, essentially, in that last push to give his life, and that inspired all of them to move forward. So there's an interesting study on leadership.
Yeah.
That when you try to lead by force, it doesn't work. But if you lead by inspiring them and showing your solidarity with your people, that's really what will inspire them.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I thought it was great.
Mm-hmm.
That was a good choice. So Glory. It's a good movie, and it was really. You wanted something kind of lighter, and like, well, I think we picked Glory. Like, well,
Yeah,
okay.
not lighter, but
What other joys do we have here? Any other joys?
Yeah, so I took 2 trips this past week as
Yeah,
well.
you did. Holy cow.
I also went to Salina on Sunday to see my grandpa and my grandma and the rest of my family. That was great. It was noisy, but
Yes, happy belated Father's Day to everybody.
yes,
Mhm.
yes. There was crazy weather that day in western Kansas. There was like supercells and tornadoes and hail and all that stuff, but none of it came to Salina, so it was all right.
That's good.
I had no idea about any of that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, my cousins were coming in from Hayes into Salina, and they just had to turn around because they would have been following the hail all the way in. So
Mm.
yeah, so better
Okay.
to be safe. And then I went to Wichita yesterday to visit my sister. We played some disc golf, ate some pizza. There's a lot of great pizza places in Wichita. I think we went to River City Pizza, which was really good. We had been to Wichita Brewing Company before, which they're very good as well. So if you're going to Wichita and you're looking for pizza, there's a couple of places. But
Mhm.
and then we also prayed in the cathedral for about an hour. So
Nice.
Yep.
Good.
Mhm.
They've got a beautiful cathedral down
yeah,
there.
yeah, they do.
They
It's
recently renovated it.
I think so.
Yeah.
It looks really new inside in.
Mhm.
It's like a unique cathedral because a lot of cathedrals are like Romanesque or Gothic, and this is like I had to look it up on Wikipedia. It's Renaissance Revival. which-
Oh, okay.
It's just a little
I was
different.
wondering because I was going to call it American Esoteric.
Yeah, yeah,
So-
because it looks like a Capitol building,
Mhm.
honestly. But so it's a little different. It's also worth the trip. Very beautiful inside as well. So
So you think that's a funny title of mine? You're right, but I believe the American Eccentric or American Esoteric. There's something that might not be the exact right word, but it's very close to it. That's a style of organ that's very common in the United States. American Eclectic, I think it's called.
style of what?
Organ.
Organ.
So you got French
Okay.
organs, you got German organs, you got English organs. They've all got a little bit of a different
Oh,
flair to
okay.
them. Often it reflects the language. So these organs are very
And
fascinating.
you're talking like appendix, right?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes. No, the musical instrument, the organ. Often they are.
The liver.
Exactly. I've got a French liver now. I'm getting upgraded to a German liver. I needed to deal, So, the organ sounds often reflect also their language in a certain way. So French
Fascinating.
organs tend to have a little bit, not nasally, but they tend to have a little bit more of a
Mhm.
nasal-like sound.
And then German organs just sound like they're yelling at you all the time.
Constantly, exactly. No, I think they've got like wider
Uh-huh.
vowels or something of that sort. So it's very interesting. But American organs tend to take what they consider the American engineer, what's best from all of them, and make an American eclectic organ.
Oh.
Nice.
Well, isn't that kind of the history of like music in the church that instruments weren't allowed in the church
Right.
because it was all meant to be vocal music, and then they allowed the organ because that was like an extension of the
Yeah,
voice, right?
I was listening to a podcast yesterday that kind of affirms that
Yeah.
the organ is very similar to the human voice, and that's why it's so appreciated in the church.
Right. It's the documents say they organize the pride of place or
Mhm.
something. I think is the terms in the.
Yeah, because the number one instrument for music in the church is the human voice, and so yeah, like you said, it's kind of an extension of that.
So that's yeah. So that's interesting that then that makes sense, and that the French organ would imitate, if you will, the French language. So with the German organ, because that's what they're trying to do, is try to bring the voices and sustain those voices for a longer period.
That is fascinating. I love to talk about the voice and instruments and the organ because particularly the voice I find to be a fascinating instrument insofar as everybody's voice is absolutely unique.
Yeah.
And so when somebody sings and somebody is joining in on the liturgy, they're praising God in a way that only they can.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's good.
So a trumpet is going to sound like a great trumpeter is going to sound like another really great
Yeah.
trumpeter. They might have a little bit of a flair here. They might
Mhm.
have a little, but a really great trumpet's going to sound like a really great trumpet.
Yeah.
But your instrument is different, unique. It will never be replicated,
Mm-hmm.
and that's a beautiful reality. That's
Right.
this incredible thing about the human voice. Sometimes people are like, "Oh, I don't have a good voice." No, you do. You absolutely do have a good voice. Everybody has a good voice because it's the voice that God gave you,
Right.
Mhm.
Right.
and that's beautiful.
Mhm.
Hmm.
Awesome.
And I always tell people, like, anybody can learn to sing. Now, it does take practice. Some voices, where I'm not saying that everybody's going to be Pavarotti. Everybody's
Mhm.
voice is built differently. But everybody can learn to carry a pitch
Mhm.
because it's part of human nature.
What was that story about Archbishop that he said, didn't he?
Yeah, he always says that the musician at Archbishop Naumann's seminary said the same thing. And after 4 years or 8 years,
So
however
the
many-
same thing being anyone can sing, right?
Exactly. And as the Archbishop was leaving, I think the musician told him that you have proved me wrong.
Oh no.
That's somehow that goes. But I also know the Archbishop is very, how would you say? Very strong-headed. He's very, how would you put that? He's very determined. You know,
Yes.
and if he wasn't
Yeah.
going to learn to sing, I don't think he was going to learn to sing.
Well, right.
You know
yes,
what I mean?
That's yeah. That's fair. We obviously we love our Archbishop.
Oh,
and
absolutely.
we'd say all these things to his face too, and he can watch our show.
I mean, determined. It's like that wasn't what he was going to spend his time on. That's okay. This wasn't going to be what he was going to spend his time on.
Well, yes, yes, I think that's true. But also, yes, he is
Vocally
musically
challenged.
challenged, and he freely admits that, and people tease him about it all the time. Michael Podeberg, who is kind of the director of liturgy in the diocese, that guy is a funny guy. Holy cow! That guy. But anyway, he was doing a training with the priests or whatever about the new missal that was coming out
Mhm.
back in 2011, and he was encouraging us to chant because we're encouraged really. The Mass is meant to be and I talked about that a bit ago, is that we're meant to sing back and forth to each other. That's the idea, like the Lord be with you and with your spirit. It's like we are singing
as one
an
body,
opera
in a certain
or
way,
whatever.
yeah. Mhm.
Instead of the Lord be with you and with your spirit. Now we're not allowed to sing right now, which is really weird. But he was encouraging us to really chant more of the Mass. And actually, you might think that I chant a lot of the Mass, but I took a step back when I came here to Good Shepherd. I was chanting a lot more at OLU, but I'm like, let's just maybe back it up a step, because I knew that it wasn't necessarily the custom here at Good Shepherd. Piece by piece, we might introduce more of that stuff. But anyway, when Michael Podeberg was training us, he was saying, and even if you're not very talented to sing, you can just, sing one note. The Lord be with you. Lift up your hearts. We lift up the Lord. Just carry one pitch. And he said to the Archbishop, now, Archbishop, if you practice that for like 6 months, you might be able to do it okay. So, but, yeah, so, very good. I don't know how we got on all that, but.
Well, musical instruments, organ.
Oh, yeah,
that's
yeah.
it.
Yeah, very good.
Mhm.
Architecture.
Let's see here. Any other? Oh, we had the confirmations on Sunday,
Yes, we did.
which is really nice there for Josh and CG were confirmed. So they were supposed to be in the
Easter Vigil.
Easter Vigil, and it was really great to give them those sacraments this past Sunday. So
Overall, everything went really well, and I think they were very appreciative of Good Shepherd's welcoming spirit throughout the whole thing. So thank you very much.
Yeah.
I think they really enjoyed both the sacraments, of course, and they're looking forward to engaging in our life here at the parish.
yeah, very
Mhm.
good. Any other joys? I also had the concert on Saturday. That was a lot of fun. It was fun to play with those talented musicians there, so that was good. Any other joys?
No joys.
No joys. No further joys.
Just kidding. No, it was a good week.
Good. And then let me say hi over here.
Okay.
Let's, because that's another joy here from the past week. It's a good transition to our next little segment here. Oh my goodness. So. Hello, Rachel and Rosalie and Laura. Hello, it was so good to see you yesterday. I got to see you, and I got to see how good you're swinging. And Rachel, you're getting so high on that swing. It's amazing. So that was really good to see you. And then you had your Silver Dollar City shirt on yesterday. That was really nice. to spend some time with you yesterday and to see you for a little bit. So I hope you're having a good day today. And maybe you'll get to do some more swinging. It was kind of hot yesterday. I don't know how hot it's going to be today, but maybe we'll get some more swinging time. So that's very exciting. And then hello to the Dryling girls. And if you are watching, we are in a different location here, obviously. So welcome to church, chat. So we will. Oh, I forgot to put the. This is supposed to say the camera like that. So there we go. And we will head back. And we're going to talk a little bit then about kind of future things that we got going on, looking forwards, or kind of what's news, what's happening, what's going to be coming up. So, I mean, I am looking forward to our final First Communion scheduled Mass right now. Is on Saturday, so that's exciting. We have two of them, English and Spanish.
Exactly.
So that's exciting.
11 o'clock and 2 o'clock, I think.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
So, be great to celebrate with them. I'm also looking forward to the 4th of July. That's going to be interesting. I don't know what's going to be happening with those plans. I'm planning on getting together with family for a little bit anyway. But it'll be interesting because I think all the shows have been canceled and everything. So
Right.
Right. We'll have to have our own fireworks show.
Let's do it.
Right. Well, it was one of the things we were talking about. You know, one of the nice things about our pre-strip is that we get just kind of a chance to kind of, vent, blow off steam.
Very bright in here.
Okay.
The sun came out, I think.
Okay.
It's okay.
We
Go
can
ahead.
fix that. Or just kind of just share thoughts. And the thought was shared, and we have a little concern perhaps of, since there are no shows, people might have the same idea of let's do our own show. And
Certainly, yeah.
I think it's probably good for the fireworks business. There's probably going to make a lot of sales.
This is true.
But we're also a little concerned that there might be some people, there might be too much of that. And I hear that emergency rooms are really busy on 4th of July because people
are dumb sometimes.
Yeah, so be
And
careful out
You
there.
have to think when you go to use fireworks.
Yes.
I mean, it's just one of those basic level things. Like, I would like to blow this thing up. How shall I blow this thing up in a safe and secure way so everybody can enjoy it?
Right.
I should be at least like 10 feet away.
Mm-hmm.
We can, if you can have the capability to have those thoughts, I encourage you to play with fireworks. But if that's just not your thing, maybe go to somebody else's house who can do those things.
Right. Well, I just have some, and we were also just saying the concerns about people, after people being locked up for 4 months, they might have an extra desire to blow things up, or with all the.
When you put it that way, it almost sounds like an uprising.
Well, yeah, well, and with all the protests and everything, I mean, there's a lot of unsettledness, and we are a little bit concerned that people are going to take that out in fireworks.
That's true.
So be careful, please, out there. But yeah, smoke bombs and sparklers, those are a good idea. Yes, KCK is like a war zone. I had 9 years living through that, and I would often go and I had to go stay at my sister's house because I think is it the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th fireworks are legal in Wyandotte County?
Okay.
Because technically I think that they're illegal here in Johnson County, or the different Lenexa, Shawnee.
Certainly in Shawnee.
It's a shame, really, because I've heard of one youth group somewhere that make all their money every year by having a fireworks stand.
Yeah,
and they
right.
make like $30,000 a year.
We could
for
just
the
go
youth.
up to Wyandotte County.
That's a good point.
Yeah. Also, I think Douglas County, not Lawrence, but Douglas County, you can sell fireworks as well. So
Right, if you just get in the right spots, you can. And so
there's a little spot on the way into Lawrence, basically you're in town, but there's this just like little square of land that's in Douglas County, and they sell fireworks there.
Right.
Fun fact.
There we go. So if you see the youth group advertising, no, I'm not doing this. Don't worry. No, I'm just teasing.
But yes, it is loud. And then I lived. So when I was in Argentine, it's kind of in the
Right.
in the valley,
Yeah.
and so it's bounced. I think the sound bounced
Oh,
off
yeah.
all those
Yeah,
hills and
certainly.
everything. So it was,
I want to make a bit of a confession here.
Yeah.
is that part of our new
Yes,
format that
that's-
we're doing?
yeah,
confessions?
exactly.
All right,
Confession,
confessions.
yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
let me get my stole.
I don't like fireworks.
I
I find them.
think you mentioned that.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. I'm not a thrill seeker. That's not part of my personality.
You don't like lighting fireworks, or you don't like witnessing fireworks, or all of the
Well,
above?
they're fine. I mean, I could take it and leave it.
They're very fleeting. That's the big problem.
That's
with
exactly.
fireworks.
I feel
Very
like they're
fleeting.
a perfect example for sin, aren't they? You spend a lot of money on something, then you light it on fire, and then it blows up. And it's there's no long-term gain, just a momentary sense of pleasure, and then it's gone.
Yeah.
It's like sin. There's a
But
momentary
that's
sense of
that's
pleasure.
true for any piece of entertainment, though. I mean,
Not necessarily. The deeper, more true. The deeper, more real entertainment stays with you, and it makes you think. It makes you ponder. Like a good movie should, one that I really want to spend my time on, will cause me to think about it for days or weeks afterwards, because then I'm thinking about the concepts that they've introduced. But just like eye candy in the sky, it's not my thing. Is that? Maybe I'm just disordered. Maybe I should be able to enjoy life more.
No, you're probably just more ordered than at least than me. So, because no, I get that too. I mean, I don't. I think there's a certain truth to that too. And yes, good. Bishop Barron used to say, "Don't waste your time on bad books. Don't waste your time on bad movies, because
Yeah.
there are good movies and there are good books to read and to watch. So don't waste your time on the junk." But I would also say, I mean, I think that's to a certain extent true, but then there's also, I think, like a good, I've talked about this before, but the diet, the plate that the health thing puts out, that, you have this much meat and this much vegetables and a little bit of fruit maybe and a little bit of dessert, have that balanced plate.
no veggies, no fruit,
Just meat, okay.
anyway.
But that a little bit of dessert is good, or it's fine. And so I think like a little bit of eye candy, or a little bit of superhero movie that doesn't have really much depth to it, that might be a good topper off. So those are.
I don't know. I think I'm starting to agree with Father Ashmore, because I'm comparing like a fireworks display to a painting, but the painting lasts. Like you can look at it again and again.
If it's a good painting, it will have an effect on you.
Sure.
It's dealing with universals.
Sure.
That's really, so it's philosophical here. What can I say? It's philosophical here.
We don't have the ash
Anything that
cam here
is
today.
more. What's that?
We don't have the ash cam here today,
That's true.
but carry on.
Anything that makes, in a certain way, real the universals, the truth, beauty, and goodness, that's going to stay with you.
No,
And so, yeah.
I wholeheartedly agree with you.
We're not disagreeing here.
Right.
I'm giving more reasoning for my thought here. Go ahead, please.
Well, we were, let's see here, years ago, I think it was that did we go to see as a family, I think that might have been the same summer, Truman Show and Men in Black. And both were very enjoyable movies.
True.
As you're watching in the theater, but Truman Show stays with you, or at least stayed with me. It's one of my favorites because it's a little dated because now it's everywhere. But reality TV shows weren't really a thing back then.
Right.
But back in the day, it was they're following someone throughout their entire life, and it was pretty profound.
So strange.
It's so strange, and so that kind of stayed with you. But then Men in Black was like a firework. It was really enjoyable for that fleeting moment, but it was kind of forgettable. It's like
Which
there's
one is the
nothing
one with
deeper.
the little pug? Is it Men in Black or Men in Black 2?
I think that's 2.
I think
Okay, that's the main thing I remember from Men in Black. That little
and the
Fred?
little and the
Is his
little
name Fred?
aliens. Maybe
Something like that?
I don't know.
Mhm.
Not sure.
So
Yeah.
the pug stayed with me.
And there are some fairly interesting things about the Men in Black movies, but
Yeah.
but that's just the same kind of thing. Is that the overall my most favorite movies are the thought-provoking ones, but those aren't necessarily the ones I own.
This is true.
Because the most thought-provoking movies are really good, but I don't necessarily need to see them again because I've got the thoughts that are carrying them around. They're not the eye candy, but I liked watching that eye candy several times because it's just kind of enjoyable
Right.
thing to have, in, like a CD or a CD, silly me, like a music thing that I like to listen to over and over again,
Like a playlist.
like a playlist.
Oh,
Sorry,
okay.
sorry.
Okay. No, it's okay.
I spoke in ancient English here, in Old English. I talk about a CD.
Was he talking about a certificate of deposit? I don't understand.
Yay.
So, anything else? What's going on?
The men in
And-
black. Yeah.
Well, that is a catchy song. That's true, Carl.
But I should get going.
Yes, you should, because you got to get ready for your service. Well, thanks so much for tuning in. I hope that you have enjoyed this format, and again, continue to share with us what your joys are and what you're looking forward to. That's kind of hopefully. I think this format worked pretty well. Yeah. So that's what we're going to plan to do, and we will plan to be. Let's see here. What does Wednesday look like? Wednesday look good
Wednesday
for people.
the 1st. Wait.
Wednesday, July 1st, look pretty good for us.
I
We'll
think
plan
so.
on it,
Yep.
but so our plan will be to be Wednesday at 10, and then if that doesn't work, then we'll do Thursday at 10. That'll be the general plan. But then we can warn people on Wednesday, saying, "Sorry, no program today. We'll be on tomorrow because we have a funeral or whatever." So, well, thanks so much for tuning in, and have a blessed rest of the day. And thanks for tuning in to Church Chat.